Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly tech update, the show that explores the newest, coolest, and sometimes mind-boggling side of tech available on the interwebs. I am your gadget guru, Ray McNeil. Coming up on the program today, TCL's new foldable and rollable concepts. Imagine a wild future of phones. A robot learns to set the dinner table by watching humans. And happening in this week's What The, some of the chaos and humor coming out of the coronavirus pandemic. That and a whole lot more coming up on today's edition of your weekly tech update. Next. Hi everyone. The first wave of foldable devices are here, and honestly, they've tended to be a bit disappointing. But even as hardware companies are still trying to get flexible displays right, TCL is already looking ahead with a pair of foldable and rollable prototypes that imagines what the future of phones could look like. TCL had two new prototypes to show off a tri-fold device that can unfold from a 6.65-inch phone into a full-fledged 10-inch tablet. That's awesome. And a very early concept too for its sliding rollable phone that leaked back in February, which wasn't actually a functional device back then, but rather a dummy unit complete with a paper screen. Now, apparently, at least it has that true rollable screen attached to it. TCL actually showed off the trifold tablet/phone at CES, but it wasn't a functional device back then. It turns on, and it has a working foldable screen that runs Android at the very least. It's still very much a proof of concept device, but with a working unit, you can start to get some ideas of what those concepts are. Unlike the Galaxy Fold or the Huawei Mate X, the trifold is arguably the first model that highlights the initial promise of a foldable device. It turns a phone into a tablet, not just a wider phone. Fully unfolded, the trifold has a 10-inch screen bigger than a full-size 9.7-inch iPad. According to people that got their hands on it, the unit was incredibly heavy for a phone, thanks to the big metal hinges and the 3 separate batteries it needs to power all of the display space. Though the tablet is thin when fully unfolded, the phone mode is super thick. It's basically 3 phones stacked on top of each other. From head-on, it might have the same dimensions of a regular phone that you can fit into your pocket. From the side, though, it's tough to imagine actually carrying this thing around like a normal phone. That's all before you worry about things like software, which is basically non-existent on the current concept device. Now, having the hardware to transition between phones and tablets is a good start, but you'll need compelling apps to actually use on a device like this, which can easily switch between the 3 different sizes of displays, something that Android in particular has struggled with so far, especially when it comes to tablets. Google is supposedly working on making Android better suited to devices like this, however, but it does have a long way to go before it's ready for prime time. And then there's still the major issues that have plagued every foldable device so far: durability, and of course, the price point. The trifold feels really fragile to use, and adding a second hinge means that there's now twice as many points for potential failure. There's also the question of price. If current foldable phones are already crossing the $1,500 mark, just imagine how much a trifold phone might cost. TCL's other concept device, the rollable sliding mock-up, is allegedly meant to help solve some of those issues. But if the trifold is an early proof of concept prototype, then the sliding phone is even less real. The unit that was handed out was a non-functional dummy unit with a paper screen. Although TCL did have a video of a proper motorized model that it says it has working in a lab in Japan. Here's how it's supposed to work. A flexible display curves around the side of the device, with the back half of the screen hidden inside the phone. Press a button and motors on the inside slide the phone open, unrolling the back half of the screen so that you can have a larger display. Is it a good idea? Well, who knows? But at least it's not folding the display, so it might last a bit longer. It avoids some of the issues of current foldables, like easily breakable hinges as well, and of course those creased displays. But it'll almost certainly have big issues of its own too. How do you deal with a display that now needs to be flexible across a wide area and not just a single folding point? What's stopping dirt or debris from getting inside the phone where the screen slides out and damaging the mechanism? But again, neither of these devices are meant to be actual products at this point. TCL isn't saying when or even if you'll be able to buy either of these phones, nor is it clear that even if TCL does make foldable products down the line, they'll look anything like these prototypes. The company says that it'll be experimenting with dozens of different form factors. We've already seen another design for a more traditional book-style fold at CES, but phones have basically looked the same for over a decade now. Black boxes with touch screens. Devices like the Trifold or the sliding concept, even if they're not yet here, show off what the future of phones might look like. And while the challenges to making these phones are unquestionably real, it's still exciting to see that we're getting closer to a world where they may soon be a reality.